Today we have Gil Holzman, President and Chief Executive Officer of Eco Atlantic Oil and Gas. You okay, Gil?
I'm well, thank you very much. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. I've got to say thank you for joining us today, the day you IPO on the London Stock Exchange.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I read your admission documents, February the 2nd. Obviously today, February the 8th, you list on London. Can you give the listeners a bit of a background story of the company?
Yes, we are a somewhat junior oil and gas exploration company. We started back in 2011. We acquired a few offshore licenses prospective for oil in the Wallabies Basin in Namibia. And shortly thereafter, we IPO'd the company in the Toronto Stock Exchange. That gave us the initial funding to actually do the exploration work that we started over there. We acquired the 2D and we de-risked the licenses to the extent that eventually we partnered with the Azimuth Group under their subsidiary named Azinam. This is a secret-backed PGS fund, and they are investing mainly in prospective oil provinces all around the world. We were fortunate enough that they came to us and said that they consider our offshore licenses in Wallabies Basin in Namibia to be the most prospective for oil offshore Namibia. This is how we started, and then we teamed up with them. They have an extensive technical team like ours, and eventually we managed to farm out one of our licenses to Tullow Oil. That was the beginning of our partnership with Tullow, and since then we evolved and developed this partnership to other places. So basically we have, as I said, 3 licenses offshore in Namibia, actually 4. 3 of them are in partnership with Azinam, 1 in partnership with Tullow, which is mostly carried through to the exploration well. And in 2014, after this successful partnership, we had some spare cash and spare management time in order to go and duplicate this strategy to other prospective areas around the world. And our strategy, as I said, remained the same. We enter into prospective basins in the Atlantic margin, where we come in early. We take a big equity in each license that we come in. We negotiate our way to a favorable term petroleum agreement, long term, 8 to 10 years, on favorable fiscal terms, some comfortable royalties or comfortable production sharing kind of contracts. And then we de-risk it internally. We have a team of 7 G&G people that reside in United States, in Kansas City. And later down the road, we partner with the mid-tier and the big companies of the oil exploration world to help us with the heavy lift of the technical work and the financial work. So that was our strategy in Namibia. And as I said, we duplicated in Guyana recently.
Yeah.
And we ended up in partnership with Tullow Oil again. And we own the Orindwick block offshore Guyana, which is just 6.5 kilometers up deep from the huge Liza discovery discovered by Exxon last year. And we are very keen about this particular license. And together with Tullow Oil, we decided to enhance and expand our work program there. And we're going to jumpstart it quite immediately in the coming spring to shoot the 3D, the entire block, to cover it in 3D, and in a hope to make it drill ready by the end of the year.
Because I'm looking, you've raised circular 4.8 million. You're the 3rd Canadian listed company to come to London in a month. So you'll have a market cap of administration of around circular 20 million UK sterling.
Yes.
You're a emerging oil frontier company, and it's saying your prospects offshore. You're keeping some very good company, the companies you're mentioning. You've got Exxon Mobil around you, Tullow, Repsol, Hez and Cosmos. So you must be very excited about the future for just a young company as yourselves.
We are extremely excited, and actually we are the only junior company and for sure the only AIM company to have direct access to such a prospective oil offshore Guyana. We are the only junior there. The rest are, as you said, is the Exxons and Hess and Tullows of the world, and we are extremely excited to be there. We were the first one to apply for this block back in March 2014, before the Lisa discoveries, and that was based on an internal work that our G&G team did, and they identified the block to probably be very prospective for oil. Exxon came a year later and actually proved our theory. So we feel very comfortable to be in this neighborhood. And as I said, this is our pure strategy to come in early, but always to team up with a bigger company and to leverage on its technical expertise and its financial resources in order for us to develop it down the road together.
Well, that's a good way as well for you guys to de-risk. So obviously you must have went into the data room and looked at the data to get this license early.
Yes. This is exactly how we operate. As I said, once Namibia was in many ways taken care of by our partners, Azinam and Tullow, back in 2014, we could apply some management time and some study in order to scrutinize additional Atlantic margin areas that we thought are prospective for our kind of company. We usually look for turbidite, for canyon fans, somewhat like Tullow. And we based our internal homework on 2D that was available for us in the region, and we ended up with an exact map of offshore Guyana with some targets there on the map to go and apply for blocks there. Again, be it luck, be it a combination of luck and good business, we applied in March 2014 for this block. And exactly a year later, Exxon Mobil came with this 1.5 billion barrels discovery, which made it one of the biggest offshore discoveries in the past decade. And we are only 6.5 kilometers up deep from this discovery.
Because I'm looking here, you've got 4 offshore licenses in Namibia, covering 22,000 kilometers. So you're well positioned, really, coming to the London Stock Exchange at the moment as a company.
Yes, and I think coming to AIM is the right move for us. First of all, the investors base in London is much bigger, be it institutions and retail alike. The understanding and the appetite for international oil exploration is still very much there in London. People understand it. People understand the risk. People understand the reward. Our partnership with Tullow naturally made us come to London, where the entire market, of course, knows Tullow very well and respect Tullow as they should be. Whereas in Canada, for example, people are less attentive or less interested in this kind of partnership. So coming to London was the right move for us. I'm happy that we managed to raise double the amount that we were looking for. That showed a very good interest from the investment community and a big success going out of the gate today.
So you were oversubscribed then. So the appetite for the company to list on the London Stock Exchange was obviously positive.
Yes, the end result, as we saw today, is very positive for us. We are now fully funded and geared up to do what we do best, which is to explore our offshore blocks together with our partners. Maybe to identify additional opportunities in those areas that we are focusing. As I said, we are going to jumpstart an immediate, quite an extensive work program with Tullow, covering our Orindwick block in Guyana with somewhat like 2,000 square kilometers of 3D. We're going to have a quick interpretation following that, and hopefully by the end of the year we are drill ready.
I was going to touch on that actually, yes, because you've got the 3D and the 2D survey interpretation. And then you've got several wells in the basin, and you guys say you're expecting to drill in 2017. So do you think that's achievable for you?
No, I'm not sure. To be very, very realistic, I'm not sure we will actually be able to drill during 2017. These things take time, but we are gearing up to enhance the work program. We will shoot the 3D quite immediately. It will take us some time to interpret, but we already know where we are targeting. We want to be drill ready in terms of targets by the end of the year, and then of course you have some lead time to bring in rig, etc., etc.
Yeah,
but the area itself is going to be super active this year. You're going to see additional 9 or 12 wells being drilled by Exxon. I know that Repsol are gearing up. I know that other companies now, after these two huge discoveries of the past few months, with over 2 billion barrels of oil, all the companies are very, very keen and very interested to further explore the area. And so we're going to see a lot of 3D and seismic activity, as well as big companies, gearing up for drilling.
Like you said, you've picked stable countries as well in Ghana and Namibia. So as a company, you're in a very political, stable position.
Yes, that's a part of the strategy. This is exactly where we're going. We're going to stable jurisdictions with good rule of law. We sign long-term petroleum agreements in partnership with governments. For example, in Namibia, the government itself has 10% interest in each block through its parastatal oil company, NAMCO. And then we apply our time and money only towards exploration. As I said, in very strong partnership with governments, with full cooperation, because at the end of the day, our success is the government success, etc. So, and this was the strategy to begin with. As I said, stable jurisdictions, long-term PAs, favorable fiscal regime, and in strong partnership with the hosting countries, because at the end of the day, it's a mutual effort.
Gil, thanks very much for talking to Share Talk today, and we will follow your story. And thank you for talking to us on today when you IPO to the London Stock Exchange.
Alex, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, Gil.
All right, cheers.